even mention about it, right? See, when you give up something, it's like, oh, I disowned the Brooklyn Bridge. It was never yours, right? It's, oh, I don't own the moon anymore. And now it's easy for us to understand and laugh at it. But the moment you understand that money you had, or the wife you had, or the girlfriend you had, or the boyfriend you had, or the possessions you had, it was never yours. When you understand that society, whatever comes in contact with you, is never yours. So what's the point in saying that I gave it up? Who said it was yours? I always mention about that guy came to me once, and he was really shaken up once, and he says, Doc, I need some Xanax. I said, what? What happened? He says, my wife gave me divorce. We were married 10 years. And then I had a girlfriend, 3 years. She gave up on me. And I have teenager kids, and they don't want to talk to me. And I'm like shaking like a leaf. Give me some Xanax. So I said,
you should be happy.
I should be happy. Depends who is talking.
Wow, what is that? Give me some anxiety or the
Xanax. Medication.
For anxiety.
Medication.
Huh?
Medication.
Medication for anxiety, right?
Okay.
So I made him understand. I said, you eat an apple, carbon comes in your body, you inhale oxygen. I said, who made the apple? God did. Who made the oxygen? God did. I said, you breathe out carbon dioxide. What happens to carbon dioxide? Another tree will pick it up. Another apple will be made. I'll eat that apple. That apple becomes part of me now. So the same apple that was part of you, now is part of me. We inhale all the time. We exhale all the time. We drink, we urinate, we eat, we defecate. All that, and continuous cycle keeps changing. 80% of your body is recycled in 1 year. In 2 years, 100%. All the liver cells regenerate, skin cells, the new hair comes out. 2 years ago, that Robert who was there is not the same Robert right now. So even your body is not yours in 2 years. I said, what makes you think that girlfriend was yours? What is yours? That's only the function of the ego. We think it's ours. And we keep on defending. We cry when it runs away. Or we happy when it runs away. Either way. But either way, you are rag or dvesh. Whether you are happy or unhappy, there is nothing to be happy about sansar, and there is nothing to be unhappy about sansar. Sansar is just sansar. The only way you can have this feeling is when you become an observer. That is the only way to handle the ego. You have to be aware of the ego. That awareness comes in the highest state of meditation, where you are fully aware. And I always describe, it's almost like you are in the middle of a jungle. You know the tiger is around somewhere. He's going to strike on you. How much awareness will be needed?
Exactly.
That's how much awareness you will have in your life. And anything that takes you away from that awareness is pap. Anything that makes you more aware is punya. Alcohol makes you attached to it is a pap. All the reveling, all these delicious things is an illusion. You are getting drunk from the materialism. And we have so many pots and pots and pots full of, if not this, that avenue, this avenue, this avenue, that avenue. All these things are the distractions from the path to the samadhi.
Coming to satsang is a punya.
Right.
It takes you towards the guy.
So
Advertising.
that's another path. You're trying to
No, it
attract people.
takes you towards.
We hope.
It takes you towards the guy.
But you can make an ego out of it. Oh, I attended spiritual class today.
Worship.
doership.
Doership, right.
Who's in my
मतलब कुछ भी नहीं बोलने का, शांत रहने का, ऐसा बोल रहे हो, right?
शांत रहने की बात नहीं है, शांत होने की बात
ego?
है. You know the
रहना
difference?
होना एक ही बात है ना.
नहीं, that's the thing.
He's not getting
Stop
it.
that हो गया.
He's not getting it.
नहीं.
रहना और होना एक ही बात.
नहीं. You and I, we walk, right? And we talk.
Yeah.
Next day I say I'm going to be silent. All right? But inside my mind, I'm thinking so many things. Am I silent?
No.
I may be silent outside. But the only way to be silent is to become silence. Now there is a big difference. What is the difference between becoming silent and being silence? Being silence itself. That's why we always talk about how do you appreciate a flower? You look at the beauty, you look at the fragrance, and when it's swinging in the air, you enjoy seeing the beauty of nature and all that, but you have not enjoyed the flower.
You become a flower.
Until you become a flower. You become a flower. If the flower is purple, you become purple. Your whole inside becomes purple. Your whole inside becomes as delicate as a
इतना
flower.
होना possible है?
Of course.
Huh?
Why not?
है.
Within you, it's always possible.
है.
You can be anything you want. It's your choice, right?
That's
So,
extreme level.
no, it's not.
No?
It all depends how
It's
much
easy.
time you want to spend time within yourself. It's extreme when you are on the material side, yes. And if that's all you know, yes. But if you know the spiritual side, it's not. You become a flower. You know how like people go in all these matches, the fans, they put the colors of the teams and all
team.
that.
Yeah.
They become, that's
Part.
how much fervor they have. And they cry and they become so much involved.
Yeah.
That's how much involvement is needed for you to achieve anything. Whatever you do,
Money.
you become that. Right? After all, material things is just a play. Right? You are that entity, a formless entity. You are just playing it out. But a lot of people ask, say, how should I live my life? You become an actor. You know how the actors put their heart. And
They
they
believe
make
in
it
it.
so real.
Yeah.
For them, that's still, but as soon as the play is over, they sit down and have a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Same thing with the players. The ball, they carry it all day long. They sleep in it. They
Right.
they
Yeah.
baby it. They take a shower. They take a ball with them in the
Exactly.
shower.
They are
And,
involved into the game.
yeah,
In the
that's
game.
why the Sachin
Basketball.
Tendulkar cricketer,
Right.
he knows so much
Right.
that slowly he's
Become.
fame. Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's how much attachment you need to
Yeah.
become something. And now you're talking about becoming God. What is God? God is a formless entity. He does not have a shape, does not have a size, so you become that. God is not a doer. Things happen only by the matter level. Matter is also God, but the ultimate actions and the spiritual side of you with the mind and with the body, the whole complex is God Himself, and the actions are being done. Ultimately, He is the doer, but He doesn't have arms. You are His arm. You are His eyes. You are His mouth. Everything is happening through you. But you should not forget that He's the doer. And that's the realization of the spirituality. Right? So the awareness is very much needed. So when you are aware, you realize the fakeness of the ego. Ego does not do anything. Whatever you achieve is not really achieved. It's like sunrise and sunset, as I said. Sunrise and sunset, to us it's a sunrise and sunset. It's not. Sun is always there. Our earth rotates.
Yeah.
So it's a total illusion. Time is an illusion. Who says there is time? Time is what? You remember 2 days and 3 days, and it holds in your mind, right? The mind has a memory. It's like a hard drive. It holds on to all these images. And since all our minds are made more or less the same way, more or less, so we are synchronized. So we talk about the time. I said more or less. I'm here at 8:30. A lot of people are not at 8:30. That's besides the point. So more or less. But what I'm saying is that illusion of time, it exists only when we talk to each other. You go and talk to the moose. Moose doesn't care about time. His mind,
Time is now.
time is now. There is no time. Only the present moment. And that's all matters. If you don't have capacity to hold on to the memories of the past does not exist. And
It's
neither
gone.
does the future. Now what are our problems? Our problems are either from the past, oh I did, then I should have done this. And what are the other problems? I want to do this in the
I want to
future.
pay mortgage
If the
and
past
this.
disappears, future disappears, where is the problem? It's just the present. The power of now. Now.
That's the book,
The
the
power
power
of
of
now.
now. Yeah.
Now is the time to be happy. If you are not involved with the anxieties of the future, regrets of the past, we have nothing but fun. And that's the job of spirituality to make. These are all illusions. Time is an illusion of space. Illusion of the mind. Same way, the ego is an illusion. How much time you want to spend on getting rid of something which is not there? It's a total illusion. The
It's a
way,
moment, really it's a moment, it's not a time.
yes,
It's a moment.
It's just a moment.
Yeah.
So the illusion will disappear by itself, meaning importance of the ego will disappear when you realize the fakeness, the emptiness, the hollowness. But you need extreme awareness. And that awareness comes only with the deeper states of meditation. There was a king who went to a sadhu to learn the highest secrets of meditation and spirituality. So the sadhu said, you really need to be getting into the state of awareness. He says, how do I do that? She says, come to me and I'll give you a 3 months lesson. He says, what do I have to do? Just come. He says, all right, this is my first day. So the king is staying with the sadhu for 3 months. He says, I'm gonna come and attack on you with a wooden sword. I won't want to hurt you, but still wooden sword does hurt. But you could be doing anything. You have to be ready. And you have to be aware that I can sneak out on you. You could be eating, you could be walking around. I may come from behind the tree. I could be taking any shape, form, whatever. I could sneak up on you and hit you with a wooden sword. So now the king is really thinking that what's going to happen if I get hurt? And he got beaten up so many times. Every moment, the little slack, the guy would just come and beat him up. And, nothing happened, but he really, at the end of the day, he would be going to bed really tired. So the whole treatment went on for a whole month. And now the king started becoming aware. He was, even while he was doing something, he was continuously in a state of awareness of what's going around him. So he developed a really good sense of awareness at the end of the month. He says, but it's for 3 months. What about the second month? He says, now I'm going to attack when you're sleeping. He says, how could you do that? He says, that's part of the training. Because to have dreams in our sleep is a luxury. When the mind is relaxed, it makes up all these crazy ideas and desires which were not fulfilled during the daytime. You catch up. So it's a luxury. He says, be aware. You're not supposed to dream. Because dreams are extension of materialism. It's nothing but material life that we're taking with us in our sleep. And some people have dreams and never sleep. They never, until we give up all the material thing, we are in the hands of Paramatma. The deep sleep, when you're in a totally dreamless state. And that's the only sleep that makes you more refreshed and happy. Next day you can brag about that I had a good sleep, right? So now, the second month, the training started. He would be sleeping and all of a sudden the guy would come and beat him up. And then now he can't sleep. And then he kept on going on and on and on and on. So finally, his dreams also disappeared. So now, for the 2 months of rigorous training, he was continuously aware, 24/7, even in the sleep. He says, my dreams have disappeared, my thoughts have disappeared. Thoughts are luxuries, that I want to do this and I want to do this. We don't realize, we take them for granted. When there is a moment of life and death, and when you really have to be aware, your thoughts disappear. You focus exactly on that moment, right? And it can be done. It can be done. Like mother and the child may be sleeping together, right? A whole train may be passing by and the mother will not wake up. But if the baby cries, the mother's mind is totally tuned to listen to the baby's cry. So there may be 100 people sleeping here. If I say Lakshman, Lakshman will wake up. Nobody else will. Because our mind is so psyched up to hear our name. So it's
He will wake up.
He may not. I'm wishing. And problem would be when you wake up. Is I'm not even Lakshman.
तो फिर टेस्ट किया तो wake up हो गया ना?
That's why they had that Milkha Singh, that when he was in Bombay, and his dream came. He says that Milkha Singh, your house is burning. in Delhi. So Milkha Singh started running. And then he got tired. By the end, he fell asleep. And another dream came. Milkha Singh, your house is burning, your children and wife is all trapped. You got to run, got to run. Next day, start running. And finally, almost the day before, he reached the Delhi. He says, oh no, my name is not Milkha Singh. I'm Santokh Singh. Why am I running here? So that's how it is. We get tangled up with the names. But my contention is that when you are psyched up to do something, and we are psyched up in a focused mind can focus itself in a very, very narrow segment of life, and everything else becomes immaterial. So after 2 months of training, the king became so aware. Throughout the day, throughout the night, he was in a continuous state of awareness. So, and still the 3rd month was left. He says, what comes next? You have taken care of my days. You have taken care of my nights. I'm not really, he says, now comes the real sword. So far it was the wooden sword. Now comes the real sword. So he says, really? I can die. He says, when you know you're going to die, because with the wooden stick you knew you were not going to die, it will never happen. And for the whole month, he was in a totally highest state of awareness. He never had to attack him. He says, what kind of punishment is this? It's not going to happen, right? He says, it might happen. So he says, how do you do it? He says, listen, the way I got trained, my guru will take me to the mountains, and as I'm really going through the very narrow path, he will just stand there as if he doesn't even care. And when I'm in the last few steps, the ground is so close, oh, be careful, be careful. And I will say, no, you were not telling me to be careful up there, and why are you worried about now? He says, over there you were protecting yourself because you knew you could fall and you could die. But here, I know nothing is going to happen, so I can do whatever. So in a very highest state, you did not need me. You took care of yourself. So anybody who has not climbed the mountains does not know how to climb the ladders of spirituality. Anybody who has not scaled the oceans has never known the depths of spirituality. Until you do it yourself, it never happens. So this awareness is, you have to create yourself. That's the only way to be. So the 3rd month came, and not a single time the sadhu had to attack the king. So everything else, now he's graduated, and now he says, your training is over, you can leave. Just as he was about to leave, king thought that, look at this guy, he made all these things, and meanwhile he was just relaxing, and he's my trainer, he's my trainer, so I have to test him. Let's see what happens if I attack him. Now, he has not even done any steps. He has not even taken any weapon in his hand. He has not even making a move. As soon as he thought about it, sadhu says, please don't do that to me. Wow. I'm an old man. I don't want to go through that again. Wow. So when your awareness becomes that high level,
you can think somebody's thought.
We can pick up the vibrations of somebody else's thoughts, because you are living at a totally different level. And a lot of scriptures, Jain scriptures, are filled with anecdotes of transmitting the knowledge at that level.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So the awareness is extremely important, and there are millions of things that is taking our awareness away, and the ego is the culprit behind all this, right? So the silence, and when I say silence, is the real silence, not silent. The silence is extremely important. Then Paramatma talks to you. In the beautiful state of bliss, then you hear the footsteps. Until then, the footsteps are always there. He's always there, beckoning you, always looking for you. Because He has created you. You are His form. And yet, we don't know if He exists or not. It's only because we are lost in the jungle of materialism. And that's because of the journey that our ego has made us do all the time. So when we realize the fakeness and the hollowness of the ego, our journey inside will start.